What if the universe really depends on you? This statement may seem strange, because the traditional Newtonian model of reality, which has been dominant for centuries, teaches us that humans live in an objective physical universe that obeys certain laws, such as gravity or thermodynamics. Within this model, the nature of the universe is considered separate and independent from man, existing beyond his perception and influence. However, with the development of quantum physics, this picture has begun to change, and many scientists and philosophers are questioning how much of reality is truly objective and unchanging. Quantum physics is a field of science that studies the behavior of tiny particles of matter, such as electrons and photons, and it has led to discoveries that have challenged traditional views of the world. One of the central concepts of quantum mechanics is Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, which states that it is impossible to accurately determine both the position and momentum of a particle at the same time. This phenomenon has led to the conclusion that the very process of observing a particle can affect its state. Thus, in the world of quantum physics, reality turns out to be not something fixed, but something that can change depending on the perception and actions of the observer. This discovery not only changed the scientific understanding of the world, but also opened the door to rethinking ancient spiritual teachings. Long before quantum mechanics was discovered, Hermes Trismegistus, the legendary teacher and philosopher, taught that as above, so below as within, so without. These words imply that there is a fundamental connection between macrocosm and microcosm, between the universe and human consciousness. In his view, the world we see around us is a kind of reflection of our inner world, our mental and spiritual nature. What happens in our consciousness can be projected outward and become part of our objective reality. This idea that the world is a hologram or light matrix, where everything is interconnected and the reality we perceive is a reflection of our consciousness, finds support in modern research. Today, quantum physics argues that the reality we live in may not be independent of us at all. On the contrary, it may be shaped by our consciousness, our thoughts and perceptions. Take, for example, the concept of the multiverse, which suggests the existence of an infinite number of parallel universes where every possible version of reality is realized. This concept is closely related to the idea of infinite time and infinite world lines, where every decision we make creates a new reality. Neville Goddard, a renowned spiritual teacher, argued in his writings that a person's thoughts and perceptions can influence their destiny and shape the reality around them. He suggested the existence of a fourth dimension from which our three-dimensional world draws all possibilities. In this fourth dimension, according to his teachings, are stored all the possible options for the development of your life, and you can consciously choose which of them will materialize in reality. Dr. Joe Dispenza, a researcher in the field of quantum physics and neurobiology, in his works puts forward the idea of the existence of an infinite field of possibilities, the quantum field. This field contains all the possible outcomes you could experience in your life. The idea is that we can interact with this field through our thoughts and intentions to shape our reality. This field, according to Dispenza, can be compared to what is described in the ancient text Cybalion, which is based on the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus and conveys wisdom gathered over millennia. So, if there is an infinite field of possibilities containing all the possible outcomes of your life, how can you determine which of these outcomes will become reality? The answer to this question probably lies in your consciousness and your intention. Your ability to focus on certain thoughts and beliefs probably plays a key role in shaping your personal reality. The idea that the universe depends on you means that you have the power and responsibility to create the world in which you live. Your thoughts, your beliefs, and your perception of reality may be the tools that shape your experience, and perhaps the entire world around you. Perhaps the universe is not something external and independent, but a mirror reflecting your consciousness. If so, each of us is a co-creator of our own reality, and understanding this fact can change not only our perception of the world, but our very lives. The timeline you are experiencing now is only an illusion created by three-dimensional reality. Time, as it is understood in this reality, exists only within linear perception. It helps us organize events and get through life, but in the higher dimensions time as such has no meaning. There, everything you could be already exists as a fait accompli. However, when you are in that particular timeline, you are limited by your perception of time and space. So what defines that timeline that you experience amongst the infinite possibilities? The answer is hidden in how you interact with reality. This is where the Newtonian model of the world begins to break down, giving way to a new understanding of oneness. We are slowly realizing that everything in the universe is interconnected, and separation is only an illusion created by the limitations of our perception. Consciousness is a quantum field that responds to your thoughts, feelings, and state of being. This field is not something external or separate from you. It materializes the timeline and outcome that you choose through your internal attitudes and beliefs. What you think and feel about yourself and the world around you becomes the reflection that comes back to you through reality. Imagine a mirror. If you smile into it, it reflects your smile. If you frown, it returns your sullen face. The mirror itself has no will or desire, it simply reflects what it sees. In the same way, the quantum field reflects your inner world, returning to you the reality you project. It is the mirror of God, the source of all things, and its job is to reflect your thoughts and feelings, creating a unique experience of your existence. Every soul in this world seeks a unique experience, an experience that will be uniquely hers. Therefore, the quantum field does not interfere with your freedom of choice. To do so would allow it to rob you of the true experience of life. It gives you the opportunity to choose your path, to live a unique life, thus contributing to the expansion of the universe. Freedom of choice is available to you at any moment. You can decide to change your life at any moment, like a person who looks in the mirror and decides to smile. The mirror of reality, like the rest of the universe, is bound to respond to you, albeit with some delay. This delay is due to the linearity of time in a three-dimensional world, where all events must follow a certain sequence. But in the end, reality will inevitably reflect what you project onto it from your inner world. When you assert your new identity and confidently stick to it, reality will begin to adjust to your new state of being. As Neville Goddard said, your inner certainty of who you want to be is bound to materialize in physical reality. The mirror of the world has no will of its own. If it did not, if it had the ability to impose its will on you, it would prevent you from having an authentic experience of life. And the universe seeks for each being to have a unique experience of being. Thus, you could say that the infinite has made itself limited in order to have the true adventure of being you. In this process, it depends on you, on your choices and your state of being at each moment in time. There is a veil of amnesia in this world that allows you to forget your true oneness with the universe and experience life as a unique, individual experience. It is as if you have voluntarily entered a virtual reality to immerse yourself in the game called life and experience all of its joys and challenges. So, you and the universe are one, but in this reality you live under a veil of forgetfulness that allows you to experience the true experience of individuality. By choosing your thoughts, feelings and beliefs, you influence the timeline you experience, creating your reality according to what you project into the mirror of infinity. Ultimately, reality is a reflection of your inner world, and the universe depends on you as much as you depend on it. Imagine a game that gives you the most authentic experience. So much so that once you're in it, you become completely immersed and begin to perceive it as reality. You feel pain, fear, joy, everything as if it's really happening. But if you knew it was just a game, you wouldn't fear for your life. For you would realize that your true self is out of danger and will not be harmed. This is similar to why life here in the physical world sometimes seems cruel and ruthless. We look at the world around us and wonder, how could God allow this to happen? But now we can realize that God is not some individual being who punishes us. Rather, we create our own reality through the way we use the laws of being. When you behave like a madman in front of a mirror, it will reflect the madman back to you. But it cannot show you a successful and happy person unless you tune into that reality. A few years ago, I myself was looking for freedom as I felt stuck in my life. The world around me only confirmed this feeling by showing me limitations, fears and suffering. It was at that moment that I came across the works of Neville Goddard. At that stage of my life, I couldn't understand why God, who was presented to me as all-loving, was allowing me to go through so much pain. I began to question, either I was doing something wrong, or what I had been told about God was a lie. After all, I had been told that God was a separate being with a will that decided who to save and who not to save. I could not accept this thought and began to search for answers. One day, as if asking a question to the mirror, I got the answer, Neville. This was the answer to my doubts and search. I began to immerse myself in the teachings of Neville Goddard, and they began to open up new perspectives for me. Gradually I realized that God is not some external force that makes decisions for us, but a reflection of our own consciousness. It is a mirror that always responds to our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. When I began to visualize freedom by consciously focusing on it, the mirror responded to me in the same way. I realized that the whole world around me is a reflection of my inner state. And if I want to see success, joy, and love in my life, I must first find it within myself. It is my thoughts and feelings that create the reality I perceive. Now that I realize this, I no longer question why God allows suffering to exist. I realize that it is not God who imposes trials on me, but I create my own reality through my perceptions and beliefs. This world, this game of life, is our way of experiencing and realizing who we really are and discovering our true nature. Ultimately, life is neither a punishment nor a blessing bestowed from above. It is a mirror that reflects everything we put into it. And if we want to see light and love in that mirror, we must carry it within us. My environment didn't change, but my inner world did. I started to feel amazing. I once lived in an apartment with a free gym, but I hadn't visited it in over a year. The reason was because I felt stuck in my own thoughts. There were so many cool opportunities around, available for free, but I didn't notice them because I was immersed in the state of someone who felt stuck in life. This limited perception prevented me from seeing all the amazing things that were around me. Then there was an instantaneous change within me, and I suddenly began to notice all the things I hadn't seen before. The freedom and possibilities that had always been there for me suddenly opened up in front of me. It was like magic. I suddenly realized that everything I needed was always there for me. This situation reminded me of a story from the book Diamond Acres by Russell Conwell. The book tells of a man who was dissatisfied with his life and envious of the good fortune of other farmers who had found diamonds on his land. He sold his acres in search of diamonds, not realizing that there were already acres of diamonds hidden on his own land. The point of this story is that before you look outside yourself for something, it is important to look inside yourself. If you feel stuck in life, the mirror of your reality will reflect just that. Like a mirror, like a quantum field, like God, it all depends on your inner state. You are the captain of your ship, the master of your destiny. I experienced this firsthand. When I was feeling stuck in my life, hating my job and dreaming of financial freedom, I decided to change my inner state. I began to project into my mind the idea that I was earning a luxurious, stable and reliable income doing what I love and doing it with ease. The mirror of reality responded. I soon began to notice ease in my life, my finances began to flow, and I am now enjoying the life I once imagined.